they're not familiar how to use it, how to type on it. It does take them time, and I'm always reminding them, this is a space bar, this is for capital.
Arrow makes the capital.
All right, let's get going.
And when they leave this room, when they graduate, they're a family. And that's the great thing. We've been blessed with being able to build things and work on things that matter.
From freshman year to being seniors now, the way we grow, the way we present, and I think that's the main thing when we go to state and national competitions. We know how to present ourselves and how to communicate with people.
Here is another Italian-American stereotype pictured in a cartoon that ran, again, in newspapers.
To be completely honest, I had no idea that Italians were at all, oppressed or segregated from our culture. When I actually read about this in our history and our curriculum right now, that was just like, it was eye-opening.
Hi everyone and welcome. I'm Marie Bliston, the host of Classroom Close-Up New Jersey, where every week we focus on innovative education in public schools around our state. This week we return to the ever-evolving topic of technology, because one way or another, technology affects all of us. Take this for example. We're coming to you by way of recent advances in media delivery, whether you're watching on your mobile device, desktop computer, or even an old TV with a digital converter. Technology is changing how we share information, how we communicate, how we do our jobs, how we travel, even how we shop. In the world of education, new technology tools are sprouting up all the time. The goal is to enhance learning, often with the added benefit of inspiring future careers. So we begin this episode with technology tools that are engaging young learners.
The first day of kindergarten is always a little scary. A new environment, unfamiliar faces, and being away from mom could make any child feel nervous. Now add an unfamiliar language to that. It really must be scary.
It is scary for them, especially as a kindergartner, just the first time that they're in school.
But it's not scary in Mrs. Walters' ESL class.
I try to make it comfortable for them and make them feel that everything will be okay. Hello, and how are you?
She takes our wonderful little ESL students that come in not speaking any English at all, and she works with them in reading comprehension and in language.
And we use this to help us with our writing. I'm taking them in a small group. We're doing lots of songs. Snap your fingers, touch your nose.
She is extraordinary in how she helps these little ones be immersed in language.
Hello, how are you? I'm fine. I'm hope that you are too.
She uses lots of different technology.
One technology she uses is the iPad.
They're not familiar how to use it, how to type on it. It does take them time, and I'm always reminding them, this is a space bar, this is for capital.
Arrow makes the capital. So we're going to use that again when we're writing.
It's all repetition, so I find with them I have to repeat it every day, because when they go home, they're not really going to practice.
My favorite color is orange.
The unit that we've been working on is an All About Me unit. They are in the process of writing their autobiographies.
Black.
Very good. They learned how to write their name. We've been talking about what we like, what we don't like.
Does anyone have their favorite color blue?
We're using strategies on how to write those words, a strategy of like stretching sounds.
When we write, we stretch our sounds.
Putting those sounds and letters together.
So stretch like me, black.
In a half an hour, we're doing all of that and then breaking it up into different parts so they could see the sentence, instead of seeing it as a long sentence, seeing it in different parts and putting it on the iPad.
They're using the iPad to write their own stories and create their own books. So it's just been wonderful. And we know that students love working with technology and they interact with it so well. And particularly it's been very helpful with ESL. There's a lot of programs on the iPad now for ESL, specifically around writing and reading comprehension and a lot with vocabulary. And so she uses it beautifully.
I see a difference. They are more independent when they're using the iPad. They feel like they have some ownership when they're typing something or when they're working on something, like this is theirs.
My favorite color is pink.
Very good. Part of the story is that not only the writing, but there will be drawing illustrations, just like any author would, and then putting that together with their sentences, even speaking and recording their voice.
I go to Springville K grade.
At the end, I have an author event where the parents will come in later on and they'll be able to see what they've done. The students will present it to them, we'll have a little party, so then they could share in that experience. Did you press done? When it starts to make sense for them, the words and English starts to make sense, I feel excited that it's connecting. They're feeling good about themselves, more confident, and then I feel like they're starting to really progress. My goal is for them to be proficient in listening, being able to listen to others, listen to their classmates, and being proficient in reading, their comprehension, understanding what they're reading, and speaking and writing, and for them to be ready for first grade. Would you like to read your sentence?
My favorite color is pink.
Pink.
Everyone has a story, even our youngest. Sharing our stories is something we can all do to stay connected to people, to the community, and sometimes to life-changing resources. It's the development of some helpful technology resources that we'll focus on next. Where does the inspiration come from to design applications? That's a good question. We'll ask our pals.
And then you just use the little mouse here and you click on the certain items from the grocery store. You may have to get a little closer to it. There you go.
This computer program, called the Supermarket Game, was written and developed by students here at Pleasant Borough High School.
All right, let's get going.
This software was designed to help fellow students with special needs to virtually navigate around a supermarket.
I could go even faster than that.
Yeah?
Good job, Kim.
This is just one of several programs that's been developed by Nick Gattuso's computer science students.
We're going to work with the games that we've developed. So the material that you see all around you, the knowledge that you see all around you, is not high school based, okay? This is graduate level stuff.
Nick's students develop software that they refer to as PALS.
PAL stands for Panther Assisted Learning Software. Panther is the logo, it's the mascot of our school.
Before Nick began teaching in 2003, he was a software engineer for a telecom company. And after a change of heart, he felt he needed to do more and give back by being in the classroom.
After 9/11, like a lot of us at that time, reevaluated what I was doing, and I figured I could maybe make a difference by teaching the next generation and doing it a different way and helping people.
This program helps the students really learn numbers. So it'll ask you a question and it'll say what number comes after this number, and the number will be pictured down here.
We're helping the life skill kids. We're helping students and enriching their lives.
So what number comes after that? And then you click check to see if it's correct, and it is. Good job.
At the same time, my students are using skills for good.
So this is our spelling game. So Aaron and I, we load the system and it comes up with a prompt here and also a picture. And what Aaron had to do is he went onto a modulus, and what happened was there was a prompt and then also a picture, and he had to learn how to spell the word that he saw. Perfect. Now you can move on. The way he learns is visual and also by positive reinforcement. So when he sees on the computer that he did something correctly, or it's perfect, or he got 100, it makes him feel good about himself, and that's something we could help.
Mary is our student. She is nonverbal. She communicates through an app on her phone. The students in my class are transition students. They usually stay with me until they're 21. She also doesn't read, so what we do is we read her the choices, and then she picks the correct one. It was a godsend, really, when Nick came down and we discussed, can you make something for this? He goes, oh yeah, we'll get right on it.
Point to which one do you think it is? A football field?
Good.
Good job, Mayor. And when they get that answer, it's really, they're so happy and pleased with themselves. And the technology does, it evens out the playing field for all, I feel.
Nick has made a world of difference with his students joining and collaborating with my students, because not only have they developed a friendship, they've developed a community.
This year's class is working on several new apps, which will be available on iPads and smartphones.
So this is called My Place. The idea is that it's going to be a scheduling app for the life skills kids. It'll tell them what class they need to be in, who their teacher's supposed to be.
And a picture of the teacher and their classroom. And then it tells them where they have to go next.
This is just a rough design of what we want it to look like, because we want it to be more than just the scheduling app. We want them to be able to see the morning announcements, see what's going on in the school with the school calendar. It's not just about like learning how to do it, it's realizing that there are just good things that you can do with it.
Nick's students are also developing a mobile app for the entire school that will allow the administration to warn students of a lockdown or other emergency.
And it's one of the few probably in the country that's been written by students for students. We're one of the few school districts around that have open lunch. So if the students are out for lunch, we need to let them know that, there's a lockdown in the facility. Stay away.
It's amazing, really, being somebody who's not that technological savvy in me. To see what they do is really phenomenal.
Many of Nick's former students were instrumental in the development of the old and new apps currently being used. In fact, Nick's son and other former students credit the PALS program with preparing them for college.
Being taught by Mr. Gattuso was a real privilege. He knows what the business is like, so he was able to convey that information to us, so we really could get a sense of what it's going to be like when we get out there in the real world, and I think that's probably the most helpful thing he could have brought to the classroom.
One of the first programs that I built was a PALS Find game, and we spent about a month on it, and we learned a lot of new stuff, so that was really great, and I was able to use that for an interview for an internship this year, and he's really prepared me a lot for that, so I'll always be thankful for that.
I feel like we all took away the fact that it's not all about us. Like when making programs, it's not about making money. It's not about, it's none of that. It's about taking your skills and being able to do something better for the world. And yeah, honestly, that was like one of the biggest lessons that we all got out of this.
And when they leave this room, 206 in June, when they graduate, they're a family. And that's the great thing that we've been able to accomplish is, we're the computer science family of Point Pleasant. And we've been blessed with being able to build things and work on things that matter.
Andrew, nice.
Good job.
That was quick.
I love that shopping game. Next, we'll continue in the career development theme with some future business leaders after this.
I'm hoping to make sure that these students, when they walk out of my classroom, that they've grown socially and emotionally, that they've understood that they might not agree with you, they might not like your lifestyle, but they'll respect it. And that's all I ask. You don't have to agree with everyone, you don't have to believe what they believe in, but you can appreciate that they have a strong belief as well and coexist.
This meeting of the Panther Chapter FBLA is now called to order. I want to start off by welcoming you all to our meeting this morning. I know a few of you could have slept in but didn't. We all really appreciate that.
Meetings aren't the only thing members of Pompton Lake's FBLA Club get an early start on. They're also getting an early start on success in the world of business.
FBLA stands for the Future Business Leaders of America, and basically, as a business club, we try to promote community service, leadership, and communication skills.
It's one of the largest student organizations in the nation, and there's a lot of different competitions at the regional, state, and national level that people can participate in.
FBLA members invest themselves in projects that involve serving their community, partnering with local businesses, teaching students about business ownership, and more.
The projects are probably the most important part of FBLA because we really help the community in many ways. And students write up these projects and then they present them. And getting the kids involved in competitions brings out the best of them. They're learning so many skills and it helps them when they go out to their careers to be who they want to be and to be very successful.
I've learned a lot of people skills. I've learned how to present, I've learned how to talk, even just shaking someone's hand and making a first impression. I've learned a lot from FBLA.
I think that's the main thing when we go to state and national competitions. We know how to present ourselves. Like, some CEO of a company will walk up to me and I know the first thing I should do is shake hands, make eye contact, make sure I make a good first impression. And I think that's important that we can present ourselves in the real world.
Since 1996, Pompton Lakes has won 92 state and 12 national awards for their projects.
It's an amazing feat to be able to get to nationals, and last year was especially awesome because all 4 groups that went to nationals placed in the top 10 of the country, which is amazing. No other New Jersey school has ever done this, or any other school, I think.
And one of them actually placed first in their
First
category.
in the country.
We had a partnership with Business Project, so we actually partnered with a speech therapy office, and we worked with kids who have social deficits such as autism and attention deficit disorder to teach them how to empathize with others and how to put themselves in someone else's shoes. And we built a birthday in a box with them, party in a box we called it. It had birthday gifts and party supplies, cake mixes, that kind of stuff. And we brought it to a shelter in Trenton for kids who never got to have a really fun birthday, and that was really cool to see.
It was our first time getting involved like this, and we never really have done a community service or led a community service project, and we ended up getting our whole entire FBLA club involved in our project, and they got to watch therapy kids grow in their faces when they got to help other people. So it was a great learning experience overall, and we got to get out and do something that we would have never done prior to getting involved in this.
We did an American Enterprise project, which we wanted to teach the kids about the American enterprise system, small businesses, how the economy runs in America, and it's the American dream essentially, where you can come to America and you can make your own life by starting a business, and that's actually the title of our project, The American Dream.
So first part of our project was to have a business plan. So the students made a business plan. Next part was teaching them about the different legal aspects of making a business, and then after that we had various business owners come in, talk to the students.
Along the way, they got to see who these business people were, not just from buying and selling, but who they are as people. And that was a very important thing that I thought the students got to take away from this project.
We worked together on a community service project, and we called it Come Out of the Dark. And what we did is we made a project to raise awareness and educate others about depression, specifically teenage depression, in our high school community. So we did different activities such as a walkathon, and we held an assembly to raise awareness about depression, so that way there wasn't as much of a negative stigma attached to students who have depression in the high school.
It's an organization that somehow year in and year out finds a way to outdo itself. And when I think they rise to the national level every year, and I've been here 12 years and they've been at the national competition for 12 years, that is an amazing accomplishment for a small town high school, any high school.
This past year, our best success was the group that did place 7th in the nation. 2 freshmen and a sophomore that came along so far.
Ms. Helm and all the seniors, they all helped with our project and made everything just as good as if they would have done it themselves. So we really have a great support system here. Everyone is helping each other out, and we have a great history here.
The members attribute much of their success to the dedication of their advisors.
Oh, Mrs. Helm.
I love Ms. Helm.
Miss Helm is one of the greatest people I've ever met, and she sees the potential in every single student.
We've talked to other FBLA chapters, and they always tell us, our advisor doesn't do as much as yours does, and we're like, wow, that's insane how much Mrs. Helm does for us. So.
You develop such an awesome relationship because she's there with us every step of the way, and it's good to know you've got someone in your corner.
This is my 20th year, and it's something that I absolutely love and have a passion for. I think the best part of FBLA is knowing the students and having the kind of relationships that you can't have in the classroom. And I know they're all waiting for me to retire, but I can't retire because the new group comes in, and I love the new group, so I just keep at it.
I'm Jamie Valente from Teaneck Community Charter School, and you're watching Classroom Close-Up.
Good morning, everyone. As you can see, Mrs. Rock and I are going to co-teach a class today. So
We have a long history of teaching together.
of incorporating history into the English curriculum and vice versa. And we're going to look at immigration issues today, and we're going to compare them to immigration issues in the early 1900s. This all came about as a lesson brought to us by the Italian-American Heritage Commission.
Cavaliere Gilderodo Baldessari is our chair of our Curriculum Development Committee. And she takes care of all the details and is really a hardened partner with the Department of Education.
So, the curriculum we feel is very important because our charge with the Commission is to educate all students and the community at large about the contributions and achievements of Italians and Italian-Americans to New Jersey, the country, and the world. And unfortunately, those contributions are very little known.
My aunt, Dr. Gilderodo Baldessari, came to me last year and told me about this curriculum that she was trying to implement into schools and programs, and it had to do specifically with my heritage and my family background, which I thought was really incredible. So I contacted Mr. Costal, supervisor of English at our school, and talked to him about trying to implement the program because it had not only a huge impact on me, but I thought it could impact a lot of other people if we implemented it.
So here is another Italian-American stereotype pictured in a cartoon that ran, again, in newspapers.
To be completely honest, I had no idea that Italians were at all, oppressed or segregated from our culture. When I actually read about this in our history, in our curriculum right now, that was just like, it was eye-opening.
Who researched the 1929 Immigration Act?
It put a quota, it was a cap on people that can come in. It was 150,000 people, and it was 70-30 split.
We looked at the curriculum, we found something that made sense with stuff we already taught, so it wasn't inauthentic. It just kind of built on what we knew. And we designed a lesson that was about the Italian-American stereotype. So this is a cartoon that I pulled from the early 1900s. The Italians are coming onto American soil. How are they pictured? What is the sort of image we're supposed to believe, Alana?
Like, he has an American flag, so they're kind of below him and fighting for their lives, kind of.
And understanding that it reflects modern history just as much as it reflects, that earlier American history. So this is about probably 6 months old. What immigration population is being pictured here? Mexicans. Okay, and what's the belief, the underlying belief of this cartoon?
It has like a picture of bacteria and it's saying, can we tag along? So it's like it's bringing them with them.
Yeah. It's offensive in the same way that earlier cartoon was, but it's modern.
It's so important to make those parallels, and I think the teachers did a wonderful job this morning in doing that.
This feeling here was that these white Europeans were somehow better or had evolved more than other people.
The lesson today about immigration and how it was seen during the Darwin years, the ramifications of that brought out some of those stereotypical negative connotations, which for decades has affected not just the Italians, but many peoples of the world. And we're even seeing it today.
This is not Charles Darwin's idea. You have sociologists applying his idea to people and really to justify.
We're working on social Darwinism and how people use the theory of natural selection to justify political and social problems, and how like in today's society, how we have trouble accepting specific immigrants, and how like on the Statue of Liberty it basically says everyone's welcome, but in reality we don't accept everyone.
Give me your tired, your poor, your huddled masses yearning to breathe free. The wretched refuse of your teeming shore, send these, the homeless, tempest-tossed to me. I lift my lamp beside the golden door.
We read the Statue of Liberty's very famous poem, The New Colossus. They answered a couple of quick questions. What is its message? Who's speaking?
Oh, I like that.
And we had them rewrite the actual end of that Colossus poem so that it reflected better, really, the true ideals of this country.
With boastful glory, keep your poor, your inferior populace, your undermined immigrants.
Keep your poor, disabled, diseased.
They really understood that while it seems so idealistic and beautiful, it's not the truth.
Give me your good, you're innocent, you're rich and successful, the best of the best.
The game I thought was really important.
We have totally lost control of illegal immigration, even with criminals, old or new.
It gave them an idea of what was popular as far as statements made in the media in 1900 and relating that to what you hear in the news today.
Raising the wages of labor to a standard that will drive them from the farms and workshops altogether. Don't take our jobs. Is it old or new?
Students needed to tell the difference whether it was something that was old or something that was modern, and that they didn't always get it right.
After studying this curriculum, it opened my mind to the Italian oppression. I thought about my own opinions and what I could change to make myself a better person.
I think the students of today have the capability to seize the opportunity from our examples and what we have brought to this country, our achievements, and some of the trials and tribulations that we've experienced.
I just hope that I can keep that in the back of my mind to remember that everyone should be treated as equals and everyone should get the same respect from the jump.
It's easy to become complacent about the injustices and achievements of the past. To help students learn from these past experiences, there are over 70 lessons and videos available for New Jersey educators. You can find a link to the lesson plans on our website, classroomcloseup.org. That's also where you can watch this episode of our show and search every show we've aired over the past 23 years. Next time, we'll bring you the latest from the NJEA convention. Until then, for Classroom Close-Up New Jersey, I'm Marie Bliston. See you soon.
This is about probably 6 months old.
After FBLA is now called to order.